Hey everybody, it's Rothbar's Disciple here. I'm bringing you guys a video today to specifically address something that the Bitcoin Cash developers have been saying is possible with the SLP tokens and the SLP or the Electron Cash SLP protocol. And specifically, what I'm going to talk about today is the like loyalty points or any sort of like membership card with any sort of business. Uh, a lot of people have been saying this is a big opportunity for Electron Cash SLP to shine, and I've been saying from the beginning that it's impossible to actually use SLP for these sorts of whatever it is, loyalty points, membership cards. They're all kind of the same thing generally. So I'm just going to prove that to you. I really had hoped that somebody else would look into this. It's not that complicated. But just in case you guys are wondering, like we're gonna use an example, I guess, and our example is gonna be Hy-Vee. So we're gonna be saying Hy-Vee's got this membership program. I think it's called Fuel Saver. I don't know. Hy-Vee's real big in the Midwest. They're just a grocery store, in case anyone was wondering. But just imagine any sort of like membership card with any big grocery store chain. Like I guess Walmart has Sam's Club. There's a lot of different ones like that. But where you're some sort of member of some sort of club and you get deals on food or whatever. So the first thing you'll notice is that they, generally speaking, they will have weekly ads or whatever that will. It's not necessarily an ad if it's a membership card. A lot of times you'll just have access to a list of what the deals are. Whether they even have apps on your phone now for stuff like that. But anyways, because it's food, and a lot of food is perishable, these deals change weekly. Okay, and so if these deals are changing weekly, there's a real big issue that you're going to notice right away when you are attempting to create a token. So when you create this token, there's an option that you can upload a token document. So obviously, if you were going to try to put let's say a membership card for Hy-Vee. It's the Hy-Vee Fuel Saver. So if you were going to put the contract for the Fuel Saver deals and like the list of all the deals that the customer um, had available to them, and then also the conditions, because obviously if a grocery store runs out of food, you can't get the deal even if the deal is listed. The only way that the grocery store can try to screw you over is if you purchase an item that you're supposed to get a deal on and they don't give you that deal. But anyways, again, if you're the grocery store, what you want to do is um, you want to actually put this on chain. Okay, so you want to put the all the deals and the contract on chain. Now, the first issue that you have here with Electron Cash SLP is that when you're actually uploading this document, you are limited uh, by the chain transaction size. So the way that Electron Cash SLP uploads data to the blockchain is the way that MetaNet uploads data to the blockchain. Everyone likes to make fun of MetaNet, and then that's what we get in terms of adding data to the blockchain. It's kind of funny to me. Obviously there's all the questions that go with MetaNet, that go now with SLP and its method of uploading data to the blockchain. How are you going to stop illegal stuff, absolutely disgusting stuff from being put on the blockchain? I have no idea. Um, the other thing is that you also use Bitcoin file in the what's it called? The IPFS or whatever, interplanetary file share system or whatever. First off, the interplanetary file share system sucks. We'll get to that later. But the second thing is I still don't understand what I gain out of putting the actual data on chain. Okay, if you look at something like Hy-Vee, if every week they're gonna have like a list of thousands of items, um, that's gonna cost them each store, at least like probably $5 to $10 in fees, if they're gonna put the list of all their deals to their members um, on the blockchain, and that's somewhat significant. Um, Obviously, it's not the biggest cost in the world, but from $250 to $500 a year, that's quite significant. Where, especially considering the fact that if they just hash the deal, like if they take the list of all of their deals, hash that, um, then also hash the contract that is associated with those deals, and then hash those two hashes together so you have one final hash left, and then just post that to the blockchain. You get the exact same thing as posting all the data itself. Um, Users can verify the integrity of the data, um, and it costs a fraction of a cent. So over the course of a year, if a grocery store was using the hash version of MetaNet, or just where you just put hashes on the blockchain rather than putting the raw data, it would cost a grocery store maybe 3 pennies, you know. So it would basically be free. But that's the way they do it, and I don't understand it. I don't understand how this can be, I don't know. Like all the developers talk about how stupid MetaNet is, and then they build their applications following the MetaNet design. The second thing, or the next thing I want to show you guys though, is that a lot of the developers are saying that there's a lot of use on the SLP tokens. That's bullshit. I mean, people are trying it out. Um, that's for sure, but there's no serious use of this going on. I know this because when I created a token for a Hy-Vee contract when I was just fucking around, you can see the highlighted. There's three highlighted transactions here. Those are all mine. The ones earlier, there's one called a Stacy Q edit token. Now, I think this comes from a video that I was going to make a while back to show people how you could use tokens for pornography, and there's a website called Stacy Q that tried to actually create their own cryptocurrency, and so I was, it was a great business opportunity. It's something that I was going to approach nChain with like a year ago, but then shit kind of fell through because James Belding, whatever, he decided to go a different way with his token system. And again, I told him he wasn't going to get much use out of it if he did it that way, and he hasn't. So told you so. But anyways, the main point of what I'm saying here is though is if you look at this, my tokens that I've created from however many months ago, it's like 3 months, 3.5 months. Um, they're basically 10 tokens down the list. So nobody's actually really using SLP. They're not actually using the features of it. And the most important features are adding the data to the token. If you actually just go back and look at the picture of the token creation, the important things are the document uh, the document hash. Using specific wallet addresses. I don't know what the default use of wallet addresses is in SLP, but as you can see, like you have to click to actually do that yourself. Linking your current SHA-256 hash to a previous SHA-256 hash. The problem here is that this is a manual entry, so people can obviously lie about that. It should be just linked like Bitcoin transactions, but they didn't do that. Like there's a huge amount of issues with the protocol itself. But again, the main issue is that when you create a token, once you create a hash for that token, you saw before, you can't link it to an additional hash automatically. You can manually link it, which allows a huge amount of fraud to go on. Um, but it can't be linked through the protocol itself, which is kind of really stupid. And you can see this in the interface of when you open up the token after you've created it. Again, this is the Hy-Vee Fuel Saver token that you saw that I had created before it was unconfirmed there. I think it's unconfirmed actually when this picture was taken as well. Um, And you can see there's a document URL that if you want to go check it out, you can. It's just I think it's just a notepad of me shit like asking why the protocol was built in such a stupid way. But you cannot change the hash itself. Okay, the hash itself is just static. And the other problem with that is if you look at the bottom here, there's a warning there that says avoid counterfeits. Carefully compare the token ID with a trusted source. Well, if you can't link the document hash, or if you can't change the document hash within a token itself, and you can only create new tokens and that are manually linked to the previous document hash, which again anyone can do that, so it just allows for a massive amount of fraud. But there's it doesn't like there's no way for you to safely change a document hash, which again is required for these people who have these loyalty rewards, whatever it is. Whenever you change what those rewards programs give you, you have to change the document hash, and there's no safe way to do it. Again, at the bottom, it tells you avoid counterfeits. Like make sure that the token ID is correct. Well, if you're continuously changing the token ID, how can you make sure it's correct? The protocol itself is so stupid. Like it just does not work for what they say it's supposed to do. None of it works in the way that you would want it to. And yet they sit here and tell you like, oh, the future is loyalty reward programs. It's like, well, have you ever actually looked at the protocol itself and tried to apply that to loyalty reward programs, the actual needs of loyalty reward programs? Because when you do, you realize you cannot use this. If anyone tries to use this for a loyalty rewards program, like they've just cost themselves a shitload of money and they're not going to get any users from it because it's just going to suck dick. It's going to suck from a user perspective. It's going to suck from the business perspective, from the seller and the buyer. It sucks for everybody. Um, and again, if I'm wrong, someone should really prove it to me because I would like to know.